Okay, another quick recap of this poem that we've already looked at in class, just for those who need to go over it again. It won't be an exhaustive analysis, but we'll pick out the main highlights and enough for you to use in your assessment task. So this is the third poem that we studied, the second that was by a female poet, and we don't have a publication date, but I'm guessing that it's published fairly early in the war because she's so keen and so disappointed not being able to go to war. So the theme of this poem we identified was frustration at being restricted to womanly roles during this war. You might just go gender equality. You can phrase it however you like. And really the title, many sisters to many brothers. So she's indicating that she is not alone in this. This is, a common feeling amongst the women that have been forced to stay home, really taking a very passive role or no role at all in the war. The roles that women could, fulfill during the war were very limited, and it really depended a lot on your social standing. Whether you were able to be a nurse, or whether you were working in a factory, or whether you were simply staying at home. Writing letters, sending parcels, hoping you don't get bad news. Okay, so when we fought campaigns in the long Christmas rains, so this is playing toy soldiers. The soldiers, games. So when we fought campaigns in the long Christmas rains with soldiers spread in troops on the floor, I shot as straight as you, my losses were as few, my victories as many or more. Hang on, I haven't done this very well on my table. So she is as successful, if not more, at playing toy soldier. Thanks. So we can talk about the rhyme in a second, but we'll get on to sort of what she's saying in the poem. So clearly they have played together, sister and brother, toy soldiers, spread everywhere, going through battles, maybe recreating famous battles from history is quite common. And she was just as good, if not better, at him at this. So whether it was battles on land in this first part, or whether it was pretend naval battles, so whether it was on land or in the bathtub with toy boats and things, she was better at him at these war games. So that continues down here. So the way that she conducted her, she, she controlled her naval ships and her battle lines and everything extremely well. She's very good at it. Quite proud of her prowess in this area. I was as fit and clean. I was as fit and clean, my fists hit as clean, your black eye matched my bleeding nose. Was there a scrap or a ploy in which you, the boy, could better me? Basically, no, she's saying. So she was as fit, as healthy, as able in a fist fight, like literally punching each other. She was just as good, could stand up to it just as well. Rhetorical questions, we'll go in here. Was there a scrap or a ploy in which you, the boy, could better me? Rhetorical question. Not meant to be answered, but basically the implied answer is no. No, there wasn't anything that he could do as a boy that she could not do as a girl. He could not climb higher, ride straighter, run as quick, and to smoke made you sick. So back in these days, so couldn't smoke. Oops, let's try spelling that correctly. Couldn't smoke a cigarette or cigar. I'm assuming it's a cigarette. That could be a cigar. back in those days, you're probably well aware that smoking was not considered harmful. In fact, there were many doctors who actually prescribed it as being beneficial for the lungs, ironically. And it was a sign of adulthood, adults drink and smoke, so therefore, to prove that you're an adult, you drink and smoke. But he couldn't even smoke a cigarette. It made him sick. So, how rubbish was he? And then some ellipses to give us a little pause, a little kind of dramatic pause. I'll give that, what should I give that? I'll give that green. Ellipses, plural. Shall I do this thing? Ellipsis. Punctuation to give a dramatic pause. You can just read that. But I sit here and you're under fire. So she spent all this time telling us, or him, as it's addressed to her brother, she had all these great attributes, just as good, if not better, as her brother, but yet, ellipsis, she sits there and he's out there under fire at war. It's you that have the luck. Out there in the blood and muck, you were born beneath a kindly star, i.e., his luck. Being born male. So she acknowledges that there's blood and muck, but still considers that he's lucky that he gets to be out there in it. All we dreamt, I and you, so all they thought about together, you can go and do. So he's able to go out and do all the things that they thought about. So all of these pretend battles and fights and all the rest of it, he can go out and actually live it, but she can't. The way things are. Let's give that a pink. That's appropriate because pink is so commonly associated nowadays with female. The gender roles of the time. I've used pink, but actually that's kind of ironic because back at this half of the 20th century, pink was associated with maleness, with strength, with blood, with masculinity. It was in the 1950s that the blue and pink got reversed, and blue became associated with boys and girls with pink. So this association of pink and female is 60 years old. So in a trench you are sitting while I am knitting a hopeless sock. There was our personification that we identified. What am I doing? Let's go with blue. I haven't done that yet. Personification of the hopeless sock. Personification. Explain that correctly. That never gets done. So there are reasons why the hopeless sock never gets done. Possibly she doesn't enjoy knitting and is frustrated that it's really the only thing that she seems to be able to do for this war effort. It could be that she's worried that he's never going to need it. I talked to you about the exhibition at the Australian War Museum, exhibition of an unfinished sock that a sister was knitting for her brother when she got notified that he had actually been killed in action, and she stopped knitting and kept it preserved exactly how it was. So this image of the knitting sock, women knitting socks, is very, very deeply ingrained with women waiting for menfolk to come home from the war, First and Second World War. So the sock knitting thing is a very female focus, or female theme, female, image of that women's role being much more limited to this knitting, which again also ironically used to be a male-dominated industry. Okay, so back here, so here's luck, my dear. So she's actually giving him all her luck that she can so that he actually gets through the war. She's giving it to him without any hesitation. But for me, ellipsis, another dramatic pause, the war is poor fun. So even though she's talking about blood and muck and being under fire, she still views the war as an adventure, as an excitement, as a thing that she is being left out of. She's got major FOMO about this war. So, which again makes me think that it was published fairly early. Whoops, fairly early in the piece. Let's get that over there. So we have it. So the rhyme scheme. So we identified an internal rhyme scheme. So the campaigns and let's change the colours. Campaigns and reigns. So the rhyme scheme doesn't happen just at the end of the poem. It's in the middle of the line and at the end of the line. So reigns, campaigns, reigns. Floor more, you few. So I've got give that. I'll do it over here. So there's a rhyme. Troops on the floor. Goes and more. Yep. Few. So you. Few. Oops, sorry. So got battle, rattle, bath, path, trim, grim. Yeah. So it's very regular all the way through the poem. Hang on, I've finished B, C, etc., etc. So you can talk about how it's a regular rhyme scheme. You can give the pattern of the rhyme. You can talk about the fact that it's an internal and external. I'll give this a little slash here. Whoops. Rhyme. Scheme. Of the line. Yep, so you've got the rhyme scheme you can talk about. You have got rhetorical question. You've got this dramatic pause that she's putting in to sort of give that little punch at the end. You've got the personification of the hopeless sock and the imagery of women sitting at home knitting. And then you've got that overarching theme of her frustration that her gender role, the way things are, meant that the war was poor fun for her. Okay, I hope that helps. All right, bye.